Captain Forest here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over both these combatants to see who would win more often not in a inverse situation. Wolverine versus Ultimate Green Goblin. Now if you guys are new to my channel, please leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for further content. Also, huge shout out to HQ Squad, huge shout outs to Frogger, he was also a help in this video, so much appreciated to them. So I'm going to go ahead and go over, of course, Ultimate Green Goblin stuff, and I'll talk briefly about Wolverine. So let's get right into it. So easily, Ultimate Green Goblin, he shows some pretty good feats over the years, especially during like Ultimatemarvel and even in 616. So he's easily able to like reach the mountain level ranges of AP. I'll go into that, but first I must establish some of the feats that he's showing. He's able to go at it with Miles in combat. Not only can Osborn shrug off numerous attacks and enrage blows from Miles, he can also fight him, and he's shown to do this on many occasions, and he's also shown to go pretty evenly with Miles, which is pretty impressive. So easily he's pretty much comparable in the AP department and even in speed as well. So he would scale to like the pretty good speed FTL scalings from like the Spidey tiers, so even like Spider-Man himself. So he's got some pretty good stuff already. A lot of the times, Miles needs to resort to the Venom Blast in order to even beat Osborn. So this just goes to show that a lot of the times, like Ultimate Green Goblin, he's very formidable in combat. Literally has to make Miles resort to using Venom Blasts, which the Venom Blast itself is like very powerful. A lot more powerful than his normal AP anyway. So moving on, Miles was also able to take a blast from Blackheart, which this very same Blackheart was able to one-shot Falcon. Miles was able to defeat Morbius. This is impressive, as Morbius was able to shrug off attacks from a serious Spider-Man. Miles has also fought against 616 Spider-Man and also was able to endure an attack and hurt Spider-Man himself. A clone of Miles is comparable to Miles himself in combat, and also the Miles clone was able to also fight both Miles and Spider-Man at the same time, which is pretty impressive. Miles is also shown to beat up characters such as Hobgoblin and even the likes of Armadillo, who can go at it with Rhino, and Spider-Man has rocked Electro before on a good amount of occasions. This very same Electro can generate energy to power up a quantum power engine, which would destroy New York City. This was calced around mountain level, and characters such as Miles and Ultimate Green Goblin would scale to this pretty easily. Lastly, just to show you like the difference in AP, like literally like Ultimate Green Goblin, like even his like fodder minions, his little mini goblins were able to like overwhelm Captain America in combat. So that's going to round up AP. I'm going to go ahead and move on to some of Ultimate Green Goblin's abilities. So Ultimate Green Goblin uses fire manipulation. He can project fire from his body, and he can also project it from his back to set his opponents ablaze. Green Goblin can also lace his physical attacks with fire, and he can also throw fireballs at his opponents. He also likes to grab his opponents by the face and incinerate their brains or burn their face off. Ultimate Green Goblin is very destructive. He will shoot concussive blasts of fire, which create a small area of effect. He can also flex a giant area of effect of fire from his body to incinerate anything that is around him. Green Goblin loves to get physical. He will grapple and choke out his victims, and he also loves to perform BFR tactics, such as grabbing his opponents by the arms or legs and literally yeeting them across the street. If not, at least he can literally throw you across the city if he wanted to. Lastly, Ultimate Green Goblin also has Type 4 immortality. Goblin notes that he cannot be permanently killed, and he's immortal. He'll keep coming back. So that's pretty much it for Ultimate Green Goblin. Pretty short summary of him. I'm going to go ahead and move on to Wolverine. So in terms of like attack potency, he should easily scale around small city to city level. Wolverine is shown to physically damage Deadpool. Deadpool himself took a blast from a satellite, which was calced at city level. Other characters such as Captain America would scale to this, as Captain America has fought Deadpool and has physically shown to hurt Deadpool in combat, and Wolverine has also done the same. He's been able to damage Captain America as well as Deadpool. Okay, so I've already made an extensive video on Wolverine, so I suggest you check that video out for more details, but I will still go over the basics that Wolverine brings to battle. So as for upgrades, Wolverine's adamantium claws are extremely powerful, and with the upgrades that Marvel has gotten over the years and their cosmology continuously getting bigger and increasing, like the claws have completely been upgraded. The claws are literally ridiculous. Easily they would scale around high Altiversal plus, boundless, if not extraversal. I've gone over the scaling for some of the Herald tiers, so pretty much he's been able to slice literally like open and penetrate through like Hulk, Thor and Gladiator's skin and their durability, as those claws literally negate durability. Those claws were able to slice through chains that even Hercules could not escape or break out of, so those claws are pretty serious. Really good durability, negation and potency behind those claws. Now Wolverine's adamantium claws and skeleton can take crazy amounts of punishment, such as taking attacks from Hulk, and Hulk was punching Wolverine to oblivion, and Wolverine's adamantium skeleton wasn't damaged at all except for the tissue and organs in Wolverine's body, and World War Hulk even admits that he cannot kill Wolverine and resorts to knocking out Wolverine. Not even Silver Samurai's Tachyon sword could cut through Wolverine's adamantium, and Silver Samurai's sword negates durability and it can also cut through virtually anything. His adamantium can also take atomic to subatomic destruction, which is pretty impressive. It literally no-sells it, so atomic and subatomic, destruction to like his adamantium. Wolverine's healing factor is so potent. With just a small piece of his brain left, Wolverine was able to regenerate everything. Wolverine has regenerated from disintegration, so he's taken some pretty potent damage to his body, and as long as his brain is intact, as long as it's not vaporized and completely gone, he will always just regen. And Wolverine is well known for his stubbornness and willpower. Like Namor even talks about Wolverine, like his literal willpower being so indomitable, which ties into his crazy endurance, such as taking a beating from Hulk as mentioned, getting up and literally stopping himself from blacking out when Hulk literally goes bananas and punches Wolverine into next never. Wolverine can even enter the Berserker Rage, which amps his stats by 10 times. It's also stated that it's comparable to Thor's Warrior's Madness, which is the same as the Warrior's Madness amp, which also increases your stats by 10 times. While in the Berserker Rage, Wolverine also reaches the peak of his power and he fights literally on pure instincts, and Wolverine's Berserker state doesn't impede his combat efficiency, as Wolverine can fight under control and maintain focus while in his Berserker state. So that's going to round up Wolverine. I'm going to go ahead and move on and give my thoughts on who I think wins more often than not in an inverse situation. So of course, specifically for those who do not know, this is specifically 616 Wolverine. This isn't Ultimates, just to let you guys know. I figured I'd just mention that anyway because I know people may get confused, but regardless, in terms of stats, like AP, Ultimate Green Goblin should have AP, easily mountain level. Wolverine is only like small city to city level. The gap is pretty huge, so I definitely see Ultimate Green Goblin being able to do a lot of physical damage to Wolverine's body pretty easily. The adamantium would be fine, obviously, because the adamantium's durability is just ridiculous. Now when it comes to the adamantium claws, easily Wolverine takes AP in that department. Those claws will literally slice through Ultimate Green Goblin, no problem, if those claws meet his skin. But yes, in terms of speed, I do have to lean more so to Ultimate Green Goblin. He scales more to Spider-Man in terms of like speed, especially Miles. So he would scale to like the higher calcs, so like the 9 times, the speed of light and stuff like that. So he'd scale like higher into it, whereas Wolverine, he doesn't scale that high into the FTL ranges. He's a little slower in the tier, unfortunately. Ultimately, how the fight will progress, Wolverine does have advantages. His claws, he has his instinctive reactions, his senses. He's definitely capable of going at it with Ultimate Green Goblin. However, I think that what lets Wolverine down is just the slight, stat disadvantage in terms of the speed. Like Green Goblin is a lot faster in the tier. He'd definitely be able to blitz Wolverine. Ultimate Green Goblin has advantages up his sleeve as well. He has his fire, he has his destructive capabilities, giant area of effects, giant fire blasts, or even just grabbing Wolverine and BFRing him, throwing him across the street, if not throwing him to another city, which could also give Ultimate Green Goblin the victory if he's able to do that. We've seen Wolverine being BFR'd and he has nothing against BFR. He tends to struggle to get back to the battlefield. However, if we do incorporate the Berserker Rage, that could also help. If Wolverine gets into Berserker Rage, that gives him a 10 times increase in stats, including speed, so that could even out the odds. And if that does happen, and if Wolverine gets his claws in Ultimate Green Goblin, he's done for. Green Goblin would lose. He just gets sliced into pieces. However, more often than not, I see Ultimate Green Goblin just finishing the fight really quickly. He would literally just beat the crap out of Logan. He would abuse his fire manipulation. He would burn his skin, and once he starts to see how Wolverine works, he will literally grab Wolverine by the head and just incinerate his brain and his whole face, and he's done for. He has the speed to do it. If not, just spam bombardment, like blasts of like AoE fire, which would definitely like leave Wolverine in a pretty much in a difficult situation. He'd leave him in a vulnerable situation, so he cannot like fight back. He's going to be too busy trying to regen from those injuries. And I think with the type of fire and how Ultimate Green Goblin utilizes his flames, he'll definitely go for the brain. He does it in character. He will literally incinerate you until all your organs are burnt out and just vaporized. So I'd say with mid difficulty, because I definitely think Wolverine's claws, that's something that Ultimate Green Goblin will take into a consideration and has to watch out, because if those claws skimp him, it's going to hurt, and it's definitely going to be bad for Ultimate Green Goblin. But I say with mid difficulty, moderate difficulty, I have to give victory to Ultimate Green Goblin. He's too fast, he has better AP, and he has solid wing cons to dispatch of Wolverine. Those flames will definitely be able to neutralize the healing factor if he burns like Wolverine's brain out, just vaporizes it with the fire, especially with the AoE, the area of effect, or just grabbing him and throwing him to another city and just like tossing him away. So yeah, I have to give victory to Ultimate Green Goblin. But thank you guys for watching. Let me hear your thoughts down in the comment section. But yes, it's been real. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.